Baby just arrived. She was towed in here. Possible starter, so we will see. And this 2008 Tundra was scheduled for today for many services. Like I already showed you hint in different video, this is what is holding the gas tank. There is also broken leaf spring right here on the driver's side, but yesterday they found out that the baby will not start. What we already knew, this battery terminal was bad. It was the entire time wiggling on the battery. So we knew there is already intermittent problem, but this time they said no. Even when we correctly pushed it on the battery, it won't start. So I checked the battery, it was only 12.14 volts. I brought my jumper pack here. I pushed it on the battery, correctly, which is not correct anyway. And look how this is all bad. So I immediately removed the battery out because the truck will not start. The starter will actually make the loud click bang. It hits the engine. So before even blaming starter, I went on the main crank pulley, which is 22mm socket. I confirmed the engine is not seized. They didn't run out of oil or something. After that I removed the battery and I will show you, I'm walking you through the process. So we know that terminal is absolute junk. We know we have a weak battery, so I immediately took it out. The battery is fairly new and, as I said, had 1412. So I'm charging it and it's on so-called boost. So I'm charging it actually with high amps because I want to keep moving. I ordered new battery terminals. We will install them. Meanwhile, the battery is being charged. The terminals arrived. I bought every single one of them which was available. Obviously I should have it here in the shop and not just calling for it. So which one shall we put on? This one, brass, or this one? What do you say? So I have brand new negative connector attached. Everything is clean. I cleaned this negative ground. I took apart this one, cleaned the wires, and I have it ready for the battery. And all this is just to get the truck from outside in my business. So right now the charger is providing those 4 amps. The battery is at 13.22 volts. Let's go disconnect it and install it in the vehicle. Battery is nicely but temporarily in the place. I just checked the voltage when it's hooked to the vehicle. It was 12.92. But to absolutely eliminate that the problem is with the battery, we will still put a jumper on it. And now we know that really it cannot be the battery reason for no start. If it doesn't start, it will be wiring harness or the starter itself. And now I will need a help from you. I need you to cross fingers big time right now, because I tell you what, I don't want to be looking for some crew of people to push this inside because it is started or bad connection on it. I don't want to be working on it here in driveway. So let's listen. And oh yeah, you didn't cross fingers enough. It's all your fault. Listen to that. That's the click. So the owner who said, I think the starter is out, and the tow truck guy was, oh no, it sounds like a weak battery. That person, yep, when you hear this click, It's either weak battery, bad starter, or your engine is seized. Yep. It looks we need a starter, but thank you for crossing those fingers. I really appreciate it. So with my great neighbors, I was able to bring this Tundra, beautiful Tundra, back in my shop, put her on lift, and the situation is getting worse and worse. For example, we can see the starter finally. I will show you where it is located. You will get a very tiny hint of it. It's right there. Do you see that body? That's a starter right in the middle of the screen. So it's there. But in order to work on it regarding to the factory manual, you need to disconnect the exhaust here to make a space for starter removal. So it actually pays technician bunch of money to do that. Well, we have already custom exhaust, so there will be a huge problem with just doing that, as normal amount of rust on all these bolts which are holding the shields. So that's another problem for me. Well, let's make it even harder. I wanna work from here, from this area. So I need to get rid of this wheel. Well, guess what? They have a special wheels and special lug nuts, but the owner doesn't have a key for it. They don't have that special tool. Now you will say, hey, are you a mechanic? You need have your tools. Well, I have it. It's this style. Hopefully you can see it, but it's too small. And the tool is basically the same, it's just slightly bigger. But you can see I got this one, I borrow it from a friend, and I will order my own. Let's continue. Look suddenly at all this space and access, but I still have a lot of concern because there is a lot of rust, missing nuts. It's pretty hardcore. So here you might have a tiny bit more of view where that starter is. It seems to be original done, so if you look with me right there, it's that sticker all of you recognize. So what we said was the mileage, not bad at all, lasting so long. It's most likely original and it lasted 205,000 miles. Here you can see where goes the 12mm wrench to remove the main nut holding that main positive cable on that starter. And this might be one of the last views on this starter still in the vehicle, but I want to show you it's held from the back, from the rear, and you will see the big bolt, and the smaller, and on the smaller it's a 14mm. You see there, it's a 2. This is the bottom. And let's do one last update for those who are crazy enough and would like to try it themselves. I believe I have the lights ready. So, new starter in a place. You can see hopefully, yeah, that's the connector. The other small wire is behind it. You cannot reach it. You have to install it first on the starter, then put the starter up there. Then you are hooking at the end the main wire. Now, how did I got it out, in and out, right? No, out and in. Well, there's a lot of different ways, but I have chosen the easiest one, and that's through here, right next to this CD axle. it was not coming out. But here you see those two black lines. They are connected right behind the corner there. They are connected with the mount, so they don't shake. So if you remove that one bolt, you see it right here actually. Is it correct? Yeah, so it's right here. Do you see the mount? If you connect that, that allows you to lift those lines a little bit higher, therefore creating space for the starter. Use this opening to come out. You don't have to be removing exhaust, you don't have to be lifting the engine, you don't have to be doing all these things. It will not come out through here, I can tell you that. Reason for these two cooling lines disconnected is because they continue with a steel lines, which you hopefully see right there. Do you see the steel lines? These are perfectly in the way of both bolts for the starter. So all this, it's extremely painful. I believe it pays technician, I don't know, 6 hours. I will give you really good advice. If you can afford it, skip this one. It gave me hard time. The heat shields are still not installed. In my case, big problem, because all the bolts were rusted or basically already like a dust powder. So I still have to deal with those heat shields. It's so close to the exhaust that it will melt that plastic you just saw and so on. So it has to be installed. Still not done. I'm just showing you about this job. So if you can afford it, avoid the headache, do some other maintenance. It's not easy. And I have good tools. I have a lift. I cannot count how many times the truck was coming up and down to reach the bolt from there. Oh, then from underneath it. Yeah, it's not very easy job in my opinion. So I hope you enjoyed this video, find it interesting, helpful, inspiring, and be subscribed. We'll film way more for you on this channel. See you later, my friend. Well, you can stay with me for that scary moment when everything is done, and we hope that it will start. Battery fully charged overnight, tested also, and it's in very good conditions. Brand new terminal, clean terminal, everything redone. Meanwhile I had all these things gone, so I did a MAF sensor cleaning, and that was that throttle body which was so dirty. I had to remove it and clean it outside. That took a while. So there should be what? High idle after startup, despite the fact this Tundra was idling barely at 500. Key in the ignition. Cross the fingers again. Huh? Oh la la! I'm pretty sure you hear it. We are successful, and you guys were helpful. You crossed fingers correctly, and I can move on. I'm behind because that rust and the problems on this job, it wasn't easy. So I'm behind in my schedule. I have another car waiting outside, so let's go. But there is more to film on this truck, and that's coming your way very soon. See you later, my friend.